Thank you. Thank you. All right, Australia. Good. Is it morning? Good afternoon? Well, it's still morning, right? Okay. It's so good to be here. It's my first time in Australia, and they say all these wonderful things about me. Back then I'm thinking, who are they talking about here? But yeah, we've had a lot of fun with this company, and it's so good to be here with you guys. I did start off with wearing no shoes and long hair. That's absolutely true. And I did resemble a hippie. They still call me hippie sometimes in South Africa. But it's been an honor to be here with you guys so far. We've had a lot of fun in the last 2 days, sharing some awesome time with your presidential directors and above. And I got to say, you guys have some of the most amazing leaders, really. They, people of character, and they're so energetic and fired up about what they want to do and where they want to take this company and Mannatech Australia. So I would like to give them a big round of applause, all your leaders. I think they're doing a phenomenal job. And I'd also just like to start off by thanking and honoring my upline, the people that introduced me into the business. That would be my parents, which is sometimes very interesting. They are my mentors in the business, and there were a few times where I was very rebellious. But as things go, if you're too rebellious and you don't have unity, you can't achieve anything. So in their absence, I'd like to honor them and thank them for everything that they've done and sown into our lives, Linde and I. And I don't think we would have been here if it wasn't for them. So thank you in their absence. All right. So South Africa's a far way away. I was just coming up on the stage, and there's a smoke machine at the back there. I don't know if you guys can see it. And I was telling the guys, when I first met my wife, she did a very amateur cabaret show. I was watching at like a school hall, but it was very amateur, okay? Because from backstage, you can't see that the smoke machine's working so well. So she would say, come on, we need more smoke, we need more smoke. And, needless to say, by the time they came onto the stage, the first 5 minutes, we couldn't see anything of the show. It was like, we knew they were there, and they were dancing. Every now and then you see a leg flying, but you couldn't see them. So I always think about that when I see the smoke machines and so on. But I've just been to Dallas, Texas, and we were sharing the 3-point plan with them over there. And I want to tell you guys, we shared the 3-point plan with your leaders the day before yesterday. And I'm really excited about Mannatech as a company. Okay, I think that this company has the potential to be the greatest network marketing company in the world. And that's seriously speaking, I think that we have the potential to be, in my lifetime still, and my children's lifetime, to be the biggest and the greatest network marketing company that's around. And the reason I say that is because we have the best product out there. We've got the most phenomenal compensation plan that's in this industry. We're in the middle of an industry, 2 industries, that are mega trends, that are making waves around the world. That would be the wellness industry and the direct selling industry. We are in both of those industries. So it's like the time is ripe. The opportunity is ripe to be one of the greatest network marketing opportunities out there. So what I want to share with you guys today is just a few tips that we have in South Africa about how things work and how we make things work over there. We had a lot of difficulty as well in the beginning. There was a time when we had major adversities and so on, but we came through that. And also thanks to a lot of good leadership that came from Louis and Leonie van der Linde, and just the awesome corporate staff and everybody in collaboration working together. I would say that's the reason why we came through it so nicely. But the first thing I want to mention is something that we build our business on. It's sort of a foundation that we use in South Africa. We call it the 3 powers. And we didn't invent these 3 powers. It's come from many years, decades of things that work in this industry. But if you don't have these 3 powers in place, everything you build will be shaky. Nothing will stand firm. Because these 3 powers, let me tell you what they are. The first of the 3 powers is the power of unity. Okay? Unity is, you need unity in our business. Without unity, people get confused and they do nothing. You need unity. So in South Africa, we bend over backwards to maintain unity. We solve problems in a nice way. And we're constantly upholding a spirit of excitement and feeling good because, out there's enough negativity. There's enough people that are being put down. We don't want to be that. We want to be people that lift people up. When they come in here, they must feel, wow, this is a smart crowd. These are a bunch of people that want to lift me up. And I think that's what they think when they come into your business, when they come into this room. They think, well, that's what I thought the first time I started looking at meetings and attending these. I thought, wow, these guys are amazing. I thought maybe they're on something, because they're always excited. But I thought these guys are a bunch of amazing people, constantly uplifting each other. And what an awesome environment to work in. The more I help other people achieve and succeed, the more I achieve and succeed. Right? I've got people in South Africa that say to me, Vince, I'm going to be richer than you. And I say, how can I help you? Come on. I'll hold the pom-poms and be your cheerleader. Right? Come right past me. You're going to be panting because I'll give you a run for it. But come right past me. And where else do you see that where you can uplift people like that? And the better they do, the better you do. So I love this industry. I'm proud to be a network marketer. I'm proud to say I'm a professional network marketer. I'm not afraid of saying that to people. Funny enough, we moved to Greyton, which is a little village about an hour and a half away from Cape Town. It's little. It's like there are no banks and there's 2 stop streets, no traffic lights. So it's very small, and wild horses and cows that walk around in the streets and so on. So it's really small, very quaint, very nice little village. But basically, when I went bronze presidential director, when we went bronze presidential director, we basically retired there for 2 years. And I would mountain bike every day. And the biggest decision my wife had to make was what to cook for lunch. And that's what you can have with passive income, because it just keeps on coming in. And I remember when you drive around in the village like that, you never drive more than like 60 kilometers an hour. And then you get out on the big road again, and you're like, I was going so fast, And you're only doing like 100 kilometers an hour. And when you get to a traffic light again, like, how does this work again? Very interesting. But while I was out there, I wasn't ready to retire. That's why we came back after 2 years and so on. And just the freedom that you can get with this business, I realized again, the industry we're in, it's so powerful what you can build. Where else do you have an opportunity where you can build freedom like that? And at the time, I was 25, 26. So before the age of 30, and for the young people, if I can give you guys any good tips, start bringing some young people into the business as well. Not just people that want to maintain and improve their health. How do you bring young people into the business? Talk about money. That might be a shock to some of you guys, but if you want to bring more young people into your business, talk more about money. We've got people in our business that don't even care about what the product is, which is a bit blunt because our product is so amazing. But they seriously say in the beginning, or before they realize what it's all about, before they take it and give it to their family, they say, look, I don't care what the product is. I want money. I want to go free. I don't want to be part of the 40-year plan that I see my parents just went through. And, the 40-year plan is what? I don't know if it's different in Australia. Maybe the 40-year plan is different here. But in South Africa, it is 40, 40, 40. You work for 40 hours a week for 40 years, and you retire on 40% what you had before. Is it the same here, more or less? What is that? That's an outdated plan, 150 years old. It worked back then in the Industrial Revolution. It's not working now anymore. Or at least I haven't been through the 40-year plan, but this is what the guys are saying. They're saying to me, man, I only realized a few years ago, I wish I taught my kids different. And so the young people don't want to go through that. They're not stupid. They know what's going on. So my advice, if you want to bring more young people into the business, talk more about money. Or more accurately, talk more about freedom. Financial freedom. A young person loves the idea of working hard for 2 to 5 years, and then from then on, taking steps to becoming multimillionaires and going free and investing and so on. Young people love that. Right? So we've got a lot of young people coming through and in South Africa, and it's very exciting, very exciting. We've got a saying in this business as well, when in doubt, be excited. Right? When you don't know what to do next, default to excitement. When in doubt, be excited, because our business is run on excitement. I've seen people pull themselves out of almost anything just by regaining their excitement and rekindling the excitement in their business. Our business is exciting. We're changing people's lives. It's like, I like to say, when you think about it like this, people ask me, how do you contact and invite people? I say, there are many different ways, but let me boil it down for you guys. Let's think about it. If you found out, let's say you found out, you woke up in the morning and you found out you're the first person to find out that there is a Gucci sale just around the corner, and it's 90% off. What's the first thing you're going to do? Yeah, well, first thing you're going to do is you're going to run over there yourself and take as much as you can, right? Okay, well, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to start phoning your friends and saying to them, you have got to get down there. I mean, I don't care what you do, get down there. This is the opportunity of a lifetime. 90% off Gucci products. It's going to be huge. Now, I mean, that's Gucci. What you have in your hands is when you talk to somebody, you've got an opportunity for financial freedom, for health freedom. Their life may be completely different in the next 2 to 5 years, completely different. Stuff that they've been praying for that you can have come to pass. And we treat it like a hobby. We treat it like something that we poke with a stick. I think that's the secret really to get it going properly. It's just treat it with the respect and the excitement and the momentum that it deserves. Our opportunity deserves that. Your opportunity deserves that. So, the power of unity is the first power. Without unity, you have nothing. At all costs, maintain unity. And I know it's tough sometimes, and you'll never have 100% unity, but bend over backwards to maintain unity. The second of the three powers is the power of submission, which is a swear word in some people's language, because I don't want to submit, especially wives and women and so on. They hate that term of submitting. But let me just define what that means. If you listen to music, if you submit to the music, like if you go and attend a rock concert or an orchestra or something beautiful, if you go and attend and you just sit there and listen and you walk out, it doesn't mean much to you. But if you sit there and you submit to the music, you walk away with a value. You walk away with its value. And the same in this business. If you engage in your business and you just do the motions for the sake of doing the motions, you're not going to get the value out of it. You're not going to do what needs to be done. You're not going to build a massive organization that's unified and gets a life of its own, which is what we want. We all want to build a business that gets a life of its own and carries on going whether you're there or not. Then you can go on holiday. That's passive income. But for that, you need to have submission. You need to engage in the business and submit. What do you submit to? Well, in South Africa, we say the power of submission means submit to what works. We call it the system. What is the system? It's just like this function. Come to the function. If you don't come to the function, nobody in your business will come to the function. So it's an act of submission to the system. Submit to your upline's advice. Or the person that is mentoring you. They normally know more than you do because they've been around for much longer. And it comes down to the golden rule of network marketing. Who knows what the golden rule of network marketing is? The golden rule of network marketing is what you do to your upline, your downline will do to you. What you do to your upline, your downline will do to you. So that was pretty tough for me because there was a long time when I was not in edification of my upline. And guess what? My business started doing their own thing. Started going off on tangents, and we had disunity. And when there's disunity, people are confused, and they don't do anything when they're confused. They don't come and ask you what's next. They just don't do anything. So I had to start submitting to my upline, to the CDs, to the books, to improving myself as a human being, and only then my entire business started becoming teachable. Okay? And there's a lot to be said about a mentor. A mentor is somebody who can say to you what needs to be heard that a friend cannot. A mentor can say something to you that a friend cannot. That's really the difference. A mentor is somebody that can move you to the next level and tell you what you need to hear. Get yourself a mentor. It's very powerful. It's up to you to get a mentor. It was up to me to go into my parents' house after a year of not growing and say, listen, I've got my thick skin on. Tell me what I need to hear to move to the next level. I don't care what it is. I want to move to the next level now. And they said to me, wow, we've been waiting for you for a year, And from that point on, we started becoming super teachable. Even though I thought I knew more than they did, I submitted anyway. and it made all the difference. I gave my entire business permission to submit to the teaching, to what works. Very powerful. The power of unity, the power of submission, and the power of the spoken word is the third one. The power of the spoken word. What you speak tends to happen in your life. If you speak abundance, you can expect abundance to start coming your way. If you speak lack and aggravation, guess what? You get more of that. I'll give you an example. In the past, when we built our business, you build in 2 legs down, and there's one leg that always runs away and one that's a bit shorter than the other one. So we used to call it a stompie, which in Afrikaans in South Africa means like a stumpy, like a little leg. Well, we kept on calling it a stumpy, and guess what? It stayed a stumpy. Until we said, no, let's start calling it a monster leg. It happened to me. I started calling this leg a monster leg. Now this leg is bigger than the other one. So you tend to get what you speak. There's a wonderful book written which is called You're Hung by the Tongue. So watch out what you speak. Think carefully about what you're speaking. Are you speaking abundance? Are you speaking prosperity? And that doesn't mean necessarily money. Abundance and prosperity is not necessarily just money. There's abundance in experiences, in happiness, in good relationships, in events and stuff that happens in your life. Good health and so on. Abundance. Okay, it doesn't have to just be tied to money. In fact, I would encourage you guys not to tie it to money, because normally when people think about money, they get it all wrong. When they think about money, you start thinking about holding and hoarding and keeping, and that stops the flow. Money will come automatically if you think abundance, if you think prosperity. That's my experience. So I say to people, don't focus so much on the money. Focus on abundance and prosperity and that sort of thinking. And the money will come automatically. It must come because you are being abundant in your thinking. So the power of unity, the power of the spoken word, or the power of unity, the power of submission, and the power of the spoken word. These are the 3 powers we use. Okay? And I start with this because this is the foundation of everything we build on. Like I said, we solve problems in a nice way. My experience in our industry is if you don't build your business on these principles, it's not going to work. What's going to happen is people are going to go their own way. You're going to have disunity, and where there's disunity, nothing happens. Okay. The next thing is, the term character, which we're not focused on so much these days anymore. But it is imperative that we create a society and a world filled with good character. It's what the world needs now. In the world where, you've got Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and Google and all these things, it's so much information. It's so easy to see what's happening on the other side of the world instantly. What took months to go across the world, you can see now just in a few seconds. And information overload. Information is everywhere. It's so easy to get caught up in that. We live in that instant fix society, that ATM society. But really what we need is to build character, which leads to better leadership. There was a time, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, where people focused on improving themselves as human beings. They built their character every day. They sat at the dinner table and spoke about things with their children, with their spouses, how to improve ourselves as human beings. What can we do to improve our character, make us better citizens? We don't do that anymore. In South Africa, we don't do that so much anymore. Maybe you guys are more ahead. We're still one foot in third world and 1 foot in first world, But maybe you guys are a bit ahead. But we don't do so much of that in South Africa anymore. It used to be like that. But now there's so much information coming with television and internet and so on. You've got to be careful. I'm not saying don't use the internet. I love social media and the internet and so on. But there's a time for that. In our business, high touch trumps high tech. Our business is a belly-to-belly business, we call it. Yeah. Some people don't like that. It's eyeball to eyeball. Right? Belly-to-belly business. I'm going to stand in front of you. I want you to feel who I am. See my heart. I want to see your heart. We can build a business together. That's what builds the business, in my experience. High touch always trumps high tech. And to me, a great example of character is a woman by the name of Helen Keller, that most people know about Helen Keller. She was born blind and deaf. So she couldn't hear and she couldn't see. And I mean, think about that. Just think about it. You're living in the dark and you can't hear anything. And a lady, I believe her name was Anne Sullivan, she was the magic in her life, sort of her mentor, that started drawing symbols on her hand. And after trial and error and long hours of drawing symbols on her hand, she realized that she was making symbols to communicate. You know, a sign for what water is and a sign for what... And she started teaching her to speak or to read, to be able to read and understand things. This woman went through her whole life not being able to see anything, not being able to hear anything, and became one of the most influential people of her time. Character. Talk about building character. Powerful. Listen to what she says about character. The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen. No, sorry. She says, there's another quote she had which basically says that character is not easily won. It only comes through trial and suffering when the human spirit is molded. And the human spirit can be schooled. That's so powerful. The soul can be schooled. You can actually change who you are. You don't have to be stuck with where you were. You can today change who you are every day by the books you read, by the people you hang out with. You can change who you are. Isn't that powerful? Maybe you were born and you're not happy with where you were born, or you don't have the greatest education. You know, or you were born on the wrong side of the tracks. So none of that matters in our business. None of that matters in our business. What matters is who you want to become. Where are you leading your life towards? How are you developing your character today? That's what matters. She says here, optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. Nothing can be done without hope and confidence. In South Africa, we have a term called Triple H. It actually comes from a book that Orrin Woodward wrote, a great leadership book called Launching a Leadership Revolution. It was a bestseller. It was the best book I read in 2012 for our industry. Launching a Leadership Revolution. He says in that book, he says, you're looking for people that are Triple H. Triple H stands for hungry, honorable, and honorable. People that are hungry, honorable, and honorable. And honorable, which is teachable, you know, being moldable. Honorable and honorable can still be taught. But hungry, you know, if you drive around in a sports car for a whole day with somebody, maybe you can ignite their hunger, but really you're looking for people that are already hungry. I find those people are ready to move to the next level. Otherwise, you spend time with people that, you know, when I got started in this business, my best friend, I got him started in the business with me. He said the right things. He said, oh man, I'm excited, let's go for it. But he didn't do anything. I went on what he said and not what he did. I wasted 6 months. 6 months, and at the end of it, he says, you know what? I wasn't really ready to do anything in the first place. I'm sorry. So you got to go on what people do, not on what they say. A lot of times, you know, with him, I wanted to make him successful. Like Jim Rohn says, I want to make him successful. I'm going to make him successful even if it kills me. And he almost died. Because people are not ready to succeed. They're not ready to move on to the next level in their life. They're not hungry. They're not hungry for change. I believe you guys are hungry, otherwise you wouldn't be here this weekend. Yeah. It's about being hungry. Hungry for change. Hungry for leaders in life are not happy with the way things are in their life. I mean, they're the most fired up and excited people, but there's some parts that they really want to change in the world. They want this world to be better. That's what you guys are. You guys are leaders. And you guys are hungry. You want this world to be a better place. Like me, I want this world to be a better place. It's what drives me. One of the things that drive me. Hungry, honorable, and honorable. Honorable is an engineering term, right? Where you can mold something and something can be honed. That, in my opinion, is the fastest way to go presidential. Is be teachable. And I don't just mean teachable, I mean super teachable. How teachable are you? Because the person that's trying to coach you and move you to the next level, they are in a significant position where they have a vested interest in moving you to the next level. How awesome is that? Where do you see that in life, where somebody has a vested interest to make you a millionaire? That's so powerful, provided you are super teachable. My experience in my business is the people that are super teachable move really fast. They move the fastest. I hope you guys are taking some of this stuff. I mean, if you take it or not, it's not up to me, but I want to share this with you guys because I feel this is the most important thing in our business. I find people ask me, tell me how to speak. Tell me how to sign up people. Tell me how to do this. The how-tos, you'll find the how-tos that work for you. This is the important stuff. Be hungry, be super teachable, and do your things in an honorable way. Your group and your peers, your leadership peers, at your level and above, they should honor you and respect you and always know that you'll do the right thing. Hungry, honorable, and honorable. The 3 H's. You have to be smart and sensitive in your business. In our business, we have to be smart and sensitive. You can't just always speak your mind. You have to think before you speak because we are running a volunteer army. Nobody's forced to be here. Nobody has to be here in your business. They can choose any moment to walk away. It's not like you're their boss and you can tell them what to do, which is why I heard it last night. It's like herding cats. It's like keeping a bunch of leaders together, keeping that's what it's like. It takes people skills. When you go past executive director, when you go past presidential director, you've earned your master's degree in your honors degree in people skills. When you go past silver presidential, it's your master's. And when you go past platinum, then you've got your PhD in people skills. Because we work with people. That's what we do. We work with people. Helen Keller says, the best and most beautiful things in the world, talking about being smart and sensitive, the best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart. I mean, this is somebody that was blind and deaf her entire life. In the dark. Can you imagine that? And, our job is to cultivate people. I have so many people that have it a bit backwards when they come into Mannatech. What is our product really? You and I. Our product is not Ambratos and Nutriveris and all these amazing products. That's Mannatech's products. That's Mannatech's product. They manufacture that. Our product is people. We add value to the marketplace through people. Mannatech adds value to the marketplace through these amazing products that they create. So when you think about what must I improve myself on, what is it? It's not Mannatech's products necessarily. Yes, you can get the basic knowledge and so on, but if I have to be honest with you, our success in South Africa comes from our ability to improve ourselves in the field of working with people. Constantly hungry to be better at working with people, better at cultivating. Mannatech cultivates these amazing products. We cultivate people and leadership. That's what we do. That's our product. So that's a very, very powerful tip there. Get good at working with people. Get good at building people up, raising them to the next level. And you'll see your business explode. We're in the business of helping people. And let me just tell you guys a bit about how I got started. In South Africa, in the beginning, we didn't know anything. We didn't have meetings in place. We had to set all that stuff up, like I'm sure you guys had to do the same thing. And when Yolandi and I went regional director, when we got started out, I was still living with my parents when I got started out in Mannatech. I had just come back from traveling overseas for a year or so, and I was still living with them, and I met Yolandi through a soup kitchen program, a feeding program that we were doing nearby, and we were staying, and we were staying in my parents' house, and we had a little puppy. He was an English pointer, and the one morning I don't know if you guys have met Louis, my dad. He's come over here a few times. One morning he was sitting in the lounge, and the dog ran in and peed right in front of him on the carpet, on his, $5,000 carpet. And he said, that's it, these guys got to get out. So he chucked us out the house, and we were able to buy a house with the job and the income that we were earning. But we were we had a bond, and we were 3 months behind at some stage. We were struggling. And that's where Mannatech came on our path. And we saw the opportunity, and we really went for it. And we went regional director, and that was the time when we had this Stumpy and whatever, and we started changing our language and so on. And then we signed up somebody that was actually my godfather, and he lived on the other side of the country in Nelspruit. And we said, man, we put our house for rent. We put our house out to rent, and took all our stuff and put it in storage, and we loaded everything we had into our car. And at the time, we had a Toyota Avant. I don't know if you guys remember that. We had that in Australia. But it was a great runner, second-hand white car, but it was a great runner. But in the back seat, the lining was loose. I mean, it had torn, so it would hang and flap like this. If you sat in the back seat and I went around a corner, it would whack you in the face, as you go around the corner. But it was a great car. The things were just falling apart a bit. Every now and then the lights go out when you're driving on the freeway, That's a bit scary. But that's where we got started. And we drove across the country, 2,000 kilometers, 2,200 kilometers to get to Nelspruit. And we made a commitment and said, we are not coming back until we're national director. That's the commitment. I mean, we packed everything there. My wife even packed her makeup cupboard in the car. I'm like, what is that for? What do you need a makeup cupboard? Come on. And it was this pink cupboard. Anyway, and we took everything that we could, as much as we could, in the car. We looked like real hillbillies, across on the highway and across the country, and we could stay for free at least. And we started building the business there, and it grew and grew, and within 3 months we went national director. My wife was crying at night because she misses the sea so much, but we had to make it work. We put that commitment in. And my godfather's a falconer as well. So, he flies with falcons, he hunts with falcons and so on. So these falcons sleep inside the house. And, there's drop sheets out, because they're quite messy, And my little boy was 1 year old, and that's probably why my wife was crying so much, because it was not nice. You can imagine, It was not nice for her. But the point is that through all of that, we made a commitment. We made a commitment that we won't go back until we reach the next level. And that was the introduction of what it takes for me to go all the way with this business. It takes nothing less than your best. That's what it takes in this business. You heard Gary last night. It's going to be tough. Sometimes there's going to be times when you're just breezing through everything. But then there's going to be times when it's going to be tough. What is character? It's in those times when you are developing your character. Mountains are for viewing and valleys are for growing, right? Mountains are for viewing and valleys are for growing. You will be tested, and in the testing times, it's important to have the right attitude. I have an affirmation that I say to myself. Nothing happens to me, everything that happens to me is for my success. Everything that happens to me today is for my success. There's no failure. You have to look at failure as a gift. My experience of life is, as soon as you ask to move to the next level, life throws you a curveball so that you can change everything. Life throws you adversity, a difficult situation, and it moves you to the next level. It moves you into the next person you have to be. Think about it. As a presidential director, you're going to lead 1,000 people, more or less. 600 to 1,000 people that you're going to be leading. They're going to look up to you. You're going to mentor a bunch of people. It's going to be hugely fulfilling, but you have to become that person. A lot of people say, I'm going to be presidential. I want it so bad. And then life throws them a curveball. And if you have the right attitude, you change and you grow and you move to the next level. So my tip there is embrace change. Embrace the difficult situation. Don't ask for the difficult situation to be easier. Just ask for you to be wiser and better at solving the problems. Okay? Because We only build a successful, strong Mannatech with strong, powerful, able leaders. It's not the other way around. You can't build a billion-dollar-plus company feeding 5 million kids on weak leadership. It must be built on strong people, on strong leadership. It's always been like that. See, trying to change that rule is being naive. You can't change that rule. Just get good at the rules. Don't try and change all the rules, just get good at the rules. We're going to have to cultivate strong leadership, which means it starts with cultivating people, which doesn't, I mean, that sounds like farming with people, but we're going to have to get good at building people up, taking people out of the negative situations and saying, yes, you can. You can achieve. You were born for greatness. You are great. Now let's go show it. Let's go do it. You can do this. That's what our business is about. Taking somebody, and one of the most honorable positions you can hold is being somebody's sponsor, somebody's mentor, introducing somebody into this business. You're not just introducing somebody into this business. You have a potential leader there. And every time you help somebody go regional director, you are creating something that's never been there before. You are creating something brand new. That group of people that are now better off because you're around, that wasn't there before. You've made that. That's very, very powerful. That's why I'm so excited about this company. We are leaving the earth a better place than we found it. That's what we're doing. And you guys and myself, we're all a part of that. I mean, I get so excited after these sort of events, I'm ready to sign up again. If you've got an application form, I'll meet you outside. Sign up again. But guys, that's what it's about, really. It's about excitement. You can only change 2 things in your life, and that's your attitude and your activity. That's the only thing you can change. 99% of the things we worry about never happen anyway, so why worry so much? You can only change what you do and what you think about. Attitude. And in South Africa, we've got, I thought, you always have people say, what is your why? What is your purpose? Why are you around? There's 2 important days in your life, the day you're born and the day you discover why you're born. What is your purpose in life? And I thought long and hard about what it is in Mannatech that I am truly passionate about. Why am I using, because we're using this vehicle for something. You are using this vehicle for something. You're using Mannatech as a vehicle to achieve something in your life. For me, it's freedom. It's always been freedom. Freedom in finances. Freedom in health. If you're not healthy, you've got nothing. And I live with those kids where the fighter blend goes. The fighter blend, and that's just, we've got a feeding program an hour from us. We take the fighter blend to those kids, so I see how they live and what happens with them. It's about freedom for them. If they're not healthy and nourished, they are not free at all. They're not free to go to school. They're not free to think straight. They're not free to do anything. It's all about freedom. Our business opportunity is about freedom. And we have a thing in South Africa where we've worked out, we've committed to 1 million of those 5 million kids. 1 million of those 5 million kids we want to take care of, just from what we do in South Africa. And for that to happen, we have to create 2,000 presidential directors. You see, because we've linked the mission with the only way to grow our business, the only way to feed those kids is to grow our business. If you want to feed those kids, if you want to accomplish this mission, get serious about building this business. Don't be afraid to go out there and make a massive success, because that's the only way we're going to achieve our mission. So you understand, in South Africa, if you guys come and visit us, you'll hear a lot of talk about, hey man, you're doing fantastic, and it's business and business and business. But we all know that our mission is to feed those, to nourish the world. But we've identified that the only way we're going to do that is by growing our businesses. So we've committed to 2,000 presidential directors. In fact, we call it 2KPD. When we were at Manifest, there were a lot of of the Asians that were shouting, happy team and all these things. So we thought we've got to have something we shout as well. So we say 2KPD, which is 2,000 presidential directors, which will contribute $1 billion turnover for Mannatech. And we'll feed 1 million of those 5 million children. So we've got a way to go. 2,000 presidential directors. That is also equivalent to about 200 platinum presidential directors. Think about what you guys stand for. Think about what you guys, I can't say what you guys stand for here in Australia, but it's got to be something. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. You have to stand for something. Simon Sinek wrote a great book called Start With Why. He spoke about Apple and Martin Luther King. Oh, Martin Luther King that did that incredible I Have a Dream speech. I would encourage you guys, go on YouTube and listen to that speech again. They didn't have cell phones or Facebook. Nobody posted, be there that time to hear Martin Luther King speak. They didn't publish it in a newspaper. But 250,000 people showed up to listen to that speech. They just showed up because he stood for something. He stood for something massive. He said, I have a dream. He didn't say, I have a product or I have a how-to. He said, I have a dream. And he spoke about what he stood for, what he wants to see in the world. Think about what you stand for. We want to see freedom. We're sick of the 40-year plan. It's time to change that. We can change that. Do you realize how powerful that is? We're part of a generation. If you're alive now, you're part of that generation of changing the world. We are ushering in a brand new way of being free, of being with your family. I'm passionate about helping men go financially free because I've seen men in South Africa, in my business, where they don't see their kids. They leave when it's still dark in Cape Town. They leave home when it's still dark and the kids are asleep. And they come home when it's dark and the kids are asleep. They see their kids one day a week. They miss the first steps. They miss the first words. They miss the first teeth, which is maybe a good thing, but they miss the first everything. They miss it all. And then I have the privilege of mentoring and helping that person to go free, to come home. That's powerful to me. That's the generation we're part of. We are changing the world, guys. And it is an honor for me to be associated with all of you. God bless you guys. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen,